So let me show you the chaos. First I'll start with the brushes. I have brushes in random spots. Like since I paint in the kitchen, I have this little area here above my sink, and I just set brushes up here. So I'm going to go through all of those. And out here in the studio, I've got tons of brushes here, and then cans of brushes as well. So a lot of these brushes are just shot, and it makes it harder to find an actual useful brush because I've got all of these other ones and I'm not even really sure which ones are good, which ones are usable. So I think that's going to be task number one. But let me show you around a little more so you can see what I'm kind of dealing with here. Okay, so I'll try to give you the 360-degree view of the living room. So as you can see, there are like boxes and boxes of paintings. I've got panels drying on the floor. Yeah, just tons of stuff in here. So now, oh, and then frames on the couch. This room actually cleans up really nice. Like when it's clean, it's a really pleasant room to be in. But it's not only in my living room, it's flowing out into my dining room too. So, and hallway. I've got frames down here. These are panels, you know, these are blank panels here that I've made. Got panels drying on the floor. These are the 16 by 20s I made in a previous video. They should be all dry now. My dining room table here has got paintings on it, boxes of paintings, and more boxes. So eventually I'd like to get the living room completely cleared out and use, there's a big wall there where the armoire was, and I'd like to have that as sort of a gallery wall. So when people come over to look at work, you know, I can have a bunch of stuff on that wall. We'll see, but it'd be great to have things organized, so I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna start with brushes, so we'll do that first. So I separated them into 3 piles. These are kind of like small brushes that are still good. These ones are bad brushes that I will not use. And then these are sort of good, bigger brushes. Oops. None of these brushes are actually in great condition. These ones are all just too stiff to actually use any. Actually, that one's not that bad, huh? How'd that one get in there? Uh-oh. Anyway, that took a lot longer than I thought it would take. What I have in here is a lot of really little brushes, which tend to stiffen up a lot faster than the bigger ones. And it's just because when I first started painting, I was using mostly small brushes. And I had painters telling me, like more experienced painters telling me, oh, you should, you know, get rid of your small brushes. And even though I knew that, you know, was good advice, I just could not surrender my small brushes. I couldn't. Now I do work with larger, you know, larger brushes, and I don't use small brushes at all, except for just sketching out. So I decided to keep some for that purpose. So I'm much more organized now. These are all good larger brushes, sort of medium brushes, and then small brushes and palette knives here. And I've got to actually clean out my brush cleaner. So it's kind of an unpleasant thing to do, but I'm going to show you guys how this works. It gets to the point where the sediment rises up to the level of the grate, and then it's really not doing anything. So since I've been painting a lot, especially large paintings, I've got to get all that sediment out of there. So I'm going to try to show you how I do that. So the first step is going to be getting this grate out of here. And because there's so much sediment in there, it's kind of stuck. Wow. I don't remember it ever getting this stuck. Okay, finally. So here's what it looks like. This grate goes down in the bottom, and then obviously you swing the brush on the top of this, and then all of the paint particles or the pigment particles settle to the bottom. So after you've been painting a while, you get this thick sort of cake at the bottom. So I've got to remove that. So I just have an old plastic container, mix up the sediment with whatever leftover mineral spirits are in there and create kind of like a soup. I'll just pour that into this container here. Now if I let this sit for a couple days, then clear mineral spirits will rise to the surface, and then I'll be able to reuse it. So I never throw away mineral spirits. Now I've got to clean this up. I'm sparing you the slow and agonizing details here, but just want to show you what had happened is I got a buildup of like the paint. I don't know if you can see this, but it's created this really hard film. Even though it's been submerged in mineral spirits, it's still hardened, and then it sealed off all the holes, so it wasn't really working properly. So I'm using a straight edge razor or a single edge razor to scrape this off, but it does not come off easily. But anyway, I'm almost there. I just used Gamsol, but you know, terpenoid would work. Whatever, any kind of mineral spirits. I think this container takes like almost a whole bottle. Well, that sure went fast. Yeah, that's like, what is that, like $16 right there. I think I'll just keep cleaning up my sort of table here. I know some painters like to, you know, they leave just piles of dried paint on their palette, but I occasionally like to clean it off. And I do this sort of thing maybe, I don't know, maybe once a year, maybe. So it doesn't, it's not like it happens very often. That's alizarin, and alizarin stays workable for a long time. So that I'm gonna leave. Okay, so I can give you a tour of my workspace here now that it's actually all tidied up. And I know I edited this thing so that it wouldn't bore you guys to death, but it took me probably, I don't know, it's probably like an hour and a half or 2 hours to like sort through all the brushes. And then, you know, cleaning out my brush cleaner, that probably took 45 minutes right there at least. That was a bigger job, but you know, most jobs are bigger once you dig into it, and if you want to do it properly. And I think hopefully it'll be helpful to have like a nice clean working space, which I have not had in probably over a year, just because I'm constantly on that grind, you know what I mean? And my show opens tomorrow at Elliott Fouts. Actually, you'll be viewing this on Saturday, so it opens Saturday the 5th, Cinco de Mayo. So if you're in Sacramento, swing by and let me know how it is. Elliott Fouts Gallery on P Street. I won't get up there till the 12th to be able to see it. But anyway, I got my palette, which is made out of a piece of birch plywood. It's 1/2-inch birch plywood. It was just a scrap that I found. You can see it even has like saw marks in it. It's kind of roughly cut. It was just a scrap piece of wood. And then I put some varathane on it to seal it. You don't have to do that. It's just a quick way to seal the wood, because otherwise the wood will soak the oil out of your paint and it will become really stiff while you're trying to paint with it. It takes a while to season your palette, so I always kind of speed up the process with varathane. Okay, and so these containers here, this would be my medium, which I keep in a container here pre-mixed, and this is a mixture of 1 part mineral spirits to 1 part stand oil, which is like a condensed linseed oil, and then 2 parts linseed oil. And then I mix it up and I keep it in this container, and this is my, you know, this is what I use to dip into when I'm painting. This container here has clean mineral spirits when I want to thin, well, it's empty now, but I keep clean mineral spirits in there for thinning the paint if I don't want to use medium. And I don't want to thin out of here because you can see it'll dirty my color. So I keep clean mineral spirits in there for thinning. I've got an old towel here, like an old dish towel. So when I clean my brushes in here, then I'll kind of wipe it on this towel. And then I've got a couple putty knives for cleaning the palette and some little tiny brushes resting there. And then you've seen my brushes. But that's really it. And this table, this was my kitchen table, and then I made a cart below so it moves around. It's got wheels on it. And then I can store things like paper towels and extra paint and some plastic containers and all kinds of other stuff. So I'm going to clean down there next, but there's not much to do down there. So I don't know, this could be the most boring video ever made, especially for people who aren't painters, but you know, that's what my day is like today, so I figured I'd share it with you guys. So who knows, maybe you'll get something out of it. Yeah, so I'm going to tidy up down below there, and then I'll probably, you know, maybe I'll work on this painting here. I've got this painting right here that's, you may have seen in an earlier video. It's kind of just was a quick sketch in, and although it's pretty complete, so I'm going to maybe work on that, try to finish that up. So that's about it. So anyway, I hope you found this somewhat informational or entertaining. And I plan to get out and do some more plein air paintings outdoors soon, because hopefully this wind and fog will lift. But in the meantime, I can get things sort of under control around here. So thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you guys in the next video.